Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the 2022 Midwest Sim Racing Association's Rapid Fire Pizza Nationals, sponsored in part by Old School Ninjas. Looking forward to another great race here tonight as we're here for the Corn 180, 180 laps here at Iowa with a stage caution on lap 50. As always, my name's James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, bringing the action 1080p, 60 frames a second. As we get ready to roll in tonight's feature event, let's run through the grid. It's David Centini on the top spot. Colby Baber starting second. Robert Norfleet starting third. Evan Longacre will be fourth on the grid. Travis Manning starting fifth. Braxton DeWeese starting sixth. Kenny Meadows starts seventh. Chad Gwinigsman starting eighth. Barry Stevens starting ninth. Billy Fitzgerald starting 10th. We've got Brent Wall starting 11th. Matt Knight starting 12th. Cycling it back to James Knopf starting 13th. Mike Howerton starting 14th. Julio Villabush Jr. starts 15th. Robert Cook starting 16th. Chris Noble starting 17th. Timothy Davis starting 18th. Roy Hutchison starts 19th. Scott Stevens starting 20th. John Binder starts 21st. Greg Newsom starting 22nd. Diego Villalobos starts 23rd. Bill Dolph starts 24th. And that will round out the grid here tonight. Good to see the field getting bigger and bigger week in and week out. As let's see what these drivers can do. As this is, I think, going to be an interesting one. A very technical, pretty tough track compared to what they've been used to running before. Iowa Speedway just shy of a mile, a 7/8 banked oval here. Let's see what Centini and Baber can do on the front row. Norfleet, Longacre, your second row. Manning, DeWeese, your third row. Now, going to be interesting to see. I would imagine 180 laps are going to be able to get quicked off rather quickly here. As we line them up, it's going to be one more lap under eye-pacing conditions behind that iRacing safety car. Check something real quickly, but we get ready to fire them up. Pace car will be in this time by. Let's see what Centini and Baber can do on the front row here. They've got 50 laps left to go before the first planned caution of the evening. Pace car is in. And away they go. Centini out front, Baber second, Norfleet on the inside line. Longacre's lost a spot already, has fallen back to about the 5th place spot. As it looks like that's going to be Braxton DeWeese sitting up the inside line of Longacre. Longacre falls back now to the 6th place spot, down 2 positions from where he started. And no, there goes Braxton DeWeese spinning it around. Braxton DeWeese has a big moment and brings out the first caution of the night. Taking a look here to see what happened to Braxton DeWeese and that number 8 machine. Not sure if maybe he gets a little bit loose out of 4 here. There's Evan Longacre up on the high side of the 9.5, and yeah, look at that. DeWeese just steps out the back end of the number 8, and it almost catches there and hooks right into Longacre. Longacre checks up, there's going to be nowhere for him to go, and thankfully, DeWeese locks up the brakes, tries to get down to the apron as quick as he can. That is not a good position to be in, that lap 1 incident. And unfortunately, nobody involved, no hard contact was made, and that will be the first caution of the night here. So very quickly, we're going to have the iRacing safety car coming back out. The field not able to get a lap in here. And they've got 50 laps until the first planned caution of the evening. Pace car is out. And we're gonna try this once more here. Looks like everybody's staying out, and rightfully so. Braxton Luis will be starting now. I think 22nd on the restart. Not at all what he was looking for. Normally a very strong runner week in and week out here. And away they go for the second time of the night. Continuing with another massive launch, Robert Norfleet looking to the inside line of Babers, number 18, the number 10 machine. Now we kind of knew tonight was going to be a little bit exciting with less than a mile raceway to go on. Again, 7/8 of a mile here tonight. Definitely not the mile and a half for the super speedway a lot of these Titans are used to. Right now it's Centeni still comfortably up front, but it looks like Travis Manning trying to make some moves in the number 18 machine. Up one spot so far into fourth. But when these guys can get going, clicking off some laps, looks like most of the field in a low 23-second lap time situation. Oh, looks like Manning has a big blink there behind Norfleet. That may allow Kenny Meadows, the number 96 machine, ample opportunity to work his way a little bit up faster inside the top 5, but what's going on here? Howerton has problems. But we're still going to go green. Not quite sure what happened to Howerton in the 51 machine. As Centeni continues to stretch his gap going a little bit further, Travis Manning has a whole lot of company with Kenny Meadows, Evan Longacre right behind here. No, that's Norfleet and Manning side by side as Meadows watches on the number 96 machine. We've got some great racing going on here, only 10 laps in. Oh, but we've got problems at the back. Villalobos has problems in the 45 on 11 laps in. And let's see what happens. Is that race car looking mighty banged up here? We're watching Julio Villalobos, the number 45 machine. He's right behind the 25 of Knight. Not sure what happens. Maybe gives the slightest of bumps, yes, to the 25. How does Knight fare? Knight fares well, but unfortunately Villalobos having a rough go of it here. I think he's gonna have to limp that thing down pit road. That'll be the second caution very early on here tonight. As Centeni, who always looks for some long runs, not finding it as of yet. A little uncharacteristic to see this many cautions before the 50-lap stage break even in effect for these drivers. So let's see, it's been a bit of a frantic one here at Iowa. It's going to be Centeni and Baber the front row, Manning Norfleet your second row, Meadows Longacre your third row. And drivers may be in for a long one here if this is how often the caution flag is going to be come out again. 2 cautions out, only 9, about 10 laps in. Getting ready for that iRacing safety car to come back down pit road. As I believe pace car will be in this time by it is indeed. Let's try it again. Centeni sets the pace. The number 79 Chevrolet, Baber on his outside. Centeni with another solid launch. Let's see how things shape up. It looks like Manning and Baber are going to go side by side into one. Manning on the inside line, Baber up high. But already I'm seeing problems as Brent Walshow's involved in a crash. No caution as of yet. Oh no, another caution. Well, let's see what happened to Brent Wall. Let's see what happened to Brent Wall on this restart of the number 6 machine. Well, I think he got a little bit of help there. I think that may have been the 25 of Knight. And once again, Wall very lucky the field didn't absolutely pile it into him there, but he's going to go to the tail end in a wounded Ford Mustang, and that will be our third caution of the night. David Centeni getting all sorts of practices on the whole shot here this evening. I think we're in for a long one if this is how things keep going down for the drivers. 3 cautions, 14, 15 laps in. a stage break not until lap 50, so I'd be a little surprised if we're able to get to that stage break without a couple more cautions here tonight. So the caution really getting used a lot. 3 cautions, 15 laps in. And we've still got a bit over 40 laps left until the planned stage break. Now in pit road was Davis, Wall, Stevens, and Dolph. All taking that opportunity to maybe try and get some repairs done. Maybe trying to get off pit strategy here with some of the other drivers. So Centeni has had a whole lot of practice here on those starts, but Travis Manning having his luck as well. He's up 3 positions so far tonight. We're going to try it once more. Centeni and Manning still on the front row here. The whole field stacked back up. Looks like we still have all of our original entries out on track. Pace car is in. And let's fire this up again. It's going to be lap 20 as they cross the line. 30 laps left before the planned stage caution. So far, some good racing. Manning holds on to the second place. Colby Baber trying to work his way forward. Go a little bit further back to Evan Longacre. He's got Gwynningsman, Fitzgerald, Knopf right behind him as well. And it looks like Knopf making his way around Fitzgerald in the 22. And we're going to keep things going here. A little bit better of a run, at least so far. As it looks like that's going to be Norfleet and Meadows linked up nose to tail in the battle for fourth. least we've gotten a couple laps underneath our belt with green flag conditions. Norfleet, Meadows, one of the closest pairs out on track. Unless you go back to Chad Winnigsman in 7th, that's Jamie Knopf looking up the inside line. You've also got Fitzgerald, Diego Villalobos, Braxton DeWeese in the fray. A lot of guys we've been used to calling up front, and look at that. Braxton DeWeese involved in that early wreck, trying to work his way forward once more, almost makes contact there with Fitzgerald as they go door to door. Now this is the type of racing we've been looking for. As it looks like, at least briefly, everybody's going to settle down single file a little bit further ahead. Robert Norfleet, Kenny Meadows still tied up. Colby Baber has Robert Norfleet right behind him, so a lot of action going on inside the top 10. And again, we're expecting the next planned caution for the stage break to come out on lap 50. Like the top 5 starting to spread out slightly, go a little bit further back to 10th place. Billy Fitzgerald, that's Chad Ginnicksman right behind him, the number 9 machine, as well as Matt Knight, the lone Australian out on track, and the number 25. Oh, here we go. That's Diego Villalobos. And the number 43 working the outside line against DeWeese. If he can make it happen against that number 8, he will be up 16 spots. But I don't think Braxton's going to make it easy here. Guard that inside line as long as he can. Now that may allow Billy Fitzgerald to catch up a little bit, make this a 3-car battle just inside the top 10. As I think Knopf and the 28 machine just ahead, the fluorescent Toyota has got to be happy. Well, I don't know. Knopf's kind of got battles in front and behind him here. Knopf is watching Norfleet and Longacre go at it. And behind him, Luis and Villalobos dicing it up. Some fantastic racing all across the track here. We've been watching Norfleet and Longacre trying to decide who's going to slot in just inside the top 5. And Norfleet and Longacre still going at it here. Each one looking for a way around. Now, keep an eye out on Jamie Knopf in the 28. As Longacre and Norfleet have been dicing it back and forth, that's allowed that Toyota to climb up a little bit further ahead. Jamie currently up 6 spots from where he started. Back in on your race leader, David Centeni, having another fantastic run. Now that we've got a few good green flag laps underneath his belt, has pulled about a 2 3/4 over Travis Manning. Now Manning not able to get the breakaway he wants. He's got about 4/10 over Colby Baber. And then after that, the field pretty stretched out here until you go back to about that 4th, 5th place spot where kind of all the action is. A little bit further ahead, that's Evan Longacre. Robert Norfleet, I was going to say linked up nose to tail, but it looks like Longacre running a little bit wider line through 3 and 4. And maybe trying to swoop down a little bit, trying to carry some momentum. Slowly closing that gap to Kenny Meadows, but here comes Braxton DeWeese in the number 8 machine. DeWeese driving like a man possessed here after that early incident. Now DeWeese, I believe, has the pace. He's about 10th faster than either Longacre or Norfleet. Look at this. Here comes Braxton DeWeese charging back through the field side by side with Longacre. Trying to make it a 2-for-1 by getting around Norfleet as well in the 56. Louise slides up in front of Longacre coming out of turn 2 down the backstretch, the brief backstretch here at Iowa. And now we're going to see number 8 looking to the inside line of of Norfleet. Now, I don't believe DeWeese has come down pit road at all here. But for the most part, everybody on the same set of tires as the rest of the field. Slicing through the field here. Now he's going to try and close the gap to Kenny Meadows. That's going to leave Norfleet and Longacre kind of where they were, except one position down. As we watch Braxton DeWeese just blasting through the field here. As I think DeWeese starting to catch up to Kenny Meadows. Yes, he is. He started off in 6th and worked his way up close to the front, and all that incident had to go to the very tail end. And all of a sudden is once again battling just inside the top 5. As we've got action ahead as well. Travis Manning, Colby Baber, side by side for 2nd. Dave Centeni still 2.5 seconds ahead of this frantic fray. Again, we do have a planned stage break on lap 50. As we continue to watch the battle for 2nd here. Still side by side. Now they've got to be careful. Braxton DeWeese is behind them, but we've got Diego Villalobos off track. Able to get fired back up. Looks like we're going to stay green here, but here comes Bill Dolphin, Brent Wall trying to get around the 45. And these two, Baber and Manning, still going at it, but Braxton DeWeese has now closed the gap to 1.3 seconds behind. Stage caution coming out on lap 50 for these drivers. Looks like Baber extending the gap, now 3/4 of a second up over Manning. So it's Centeni, Baber, Manning, Luis, Meadows, your top 5. As Centeni just has a couple more laps to try and lock up the stage win here. Lights are still green, so I imagine the caution will come out after Centeni crosses the line here. Yes, caution lights are on, and that'll lock up the stage. It's Centeni, Baber, Manning, Deweese, Meadows, Norfleet, Longacre, Knopp, Fitzgerald, and Noble, your top 10 for the stage caution. Give these drivers a chance to have a very brief break after a fairly decent run, 30 laps under green flag conditions. And we'll bring, I believe, everyone down pit road here. As Centeni's number 79 machine getting Purvis, taking 4 fresh Goodyears all the way around. Dropping the jack on the left side, and away goes the 79. Looking on pit road, I'm not seeing anything too crazy here. Maybe a few drivers staying in a little bit longer, trying to get some repairs done on those machines, valuing some maybe fresh body work instead of a necessarily quick pit stop. Giving up a little bit of track position now, so they may have better pace in the long run. Pace car will be in this time by no more planned breaks for the night. Pace car is in. And let's go racing. It's going to once again be Centennial out front, Baber second, Travis Manning third. As it looks like things are once again heated between Norfleet, Meadows, and Longacre, running fourth, fifth, sixth. As it looks like Baber itching to get up front, challenge for the lead with Centennial. Now we know Centennial very, very fast on the green flag runs. But Baber may see an opportunity here early on the short run, trying to get in front of 79 and maybe enjoy all of that clean air for himself. Right behind Norfleet, Manning, and Meadows really going at it for that final podium spot in third. Baber looking down low. Robert Norfleet gaining ground on that number 10 Toyota as well. Right now it's Chevy, Toyota, Ford running 1, 2, 3, so a very diverse top three. It looks like Norfleet wants to battle for second. Travis Manning trying to follow. The battle for the second about to get heated. Norfleet right on the back of Colby Baber's number 10 machine. Will Baber wick up the pace here? Or is Norfleet already given everything he has now in a race that usually has long green flag runs? Usually. Sometimes the drivers get a little bit antsy in their short run trying to gain those quick positions. And if it goes green, they start finding themselves kind of falling back here. Now we don't know what a green flag run looks like quite yet at Iowa. We did have those two early precautions before the stage break. Baber able to hold on to this pan back to Kenny Meadows. He's got his own frantic fray. It's Meadows, Manning, Longacre, 4th, 5th, 6th. Less than 3/10 separating these three drivers. As you can see, the race leaders ahead, slowly extending the gap. Now about an 8/10 disadvantage. Meadows finds himself with podium contention. As Manning started off in 5th, but is giving Meadows a handful. Manning looks down low. Meadows on the high line. Looks like Longacre's backed out of it slightly, saying, you know what, let's live to fight another day here. Meadows is going to hold on to the 4th place position. Manning about 2/10 off of his bumper. Longacre 2/10 off of Manning. As Centennial, Baber, Norfleet, your top three, continue to extend that gap out front. And what's this? Manning must have pushed wide, had a moment, falls back to 6th. And once again, the top 5, top 6, an ever-changing landscape out here at Iowa. And he looks back to the inside line of Longacre to try and regain one of those spots. Longacre running more of a middle line, carrying just a bit more speed down the backstretch, but here comes Manning once more the inside through 3 and 4. Oh man, Longacre was way out there, goes for a high-low maneuver in that 95 machine, and that was just about textbook. Longacre takes back over the 6th place spot. As things are getting heated between Longacre and Manning here. And look at that, that's allowing Jamie Knopf to close the gap in the 28 machine. As the 95 of Longacre, the 18 of Manning keep duking it out. It's Manning now on the inside line. Longacre up high. And Knopf really closing the gap very, very quickly. It looked like a little bit of contact there between Manning and Longacre. I think Manning had to back out of it heavily, and now Knopf charging forward. Drivers getting closer and closer to the halfway mark. As I'm interested to see if that number 28 Toyota of Knopf, he's already up 6 spots from where he started and on a fantastic run. Let's check back in with your race leader, Dave Centini, the number 79 machine, just about 9/10 up over Colby Baber in the top right of your screen. And you also just ever so slightly saw Robert Norfleet in the 56 machine. But right now the top 5 fairly stretched out. Longacre, I believe, is about... I looked at that wrong. Meadows is 1 1/4 second up over Evan Longacre in 5th, but something's going on here in the 6th place spot. That's Travis Manning, Jamie Knopf going at it. We were just talking about Knopf trying to make some big moves here. And he's going to do just that. Look at the inside line of Manning. As it looks like from about 6th place back is where all the excitement is. Manning to run about 7/10 back from 5th place driver Evan Longacre. And then you got about 5 cars within a second of each other, running 6th through about 11th in a fairly decently sized pack. Now look at this who's joined the fray. It's Braxton Deweese in the number 8 machine. Deweese, who's had a yo-yo of an evening, up towards the front, all the way to the back, back up front, then found himself in about the 10th place spot. Looks to make it 3 wide here at Iowa. Up on the, down low, it's Deweese, Knopf, and that was Manning all the way up high. Look at that one, as I think Knopf may have backed out of it there, not wanting to put himself in the vortex of danger. And look at this battle. Braxton Deweese working his way up into 6th, exactly where he qualified. Deweese ripping it here, but the one time he was maybe looking for some cautions. Not sure if we're going to see it, as though he's been green since that lap 50 stage break. So how much of the tires did Deweese use up here? He came in at lap 52. He was in his pit stall for 27 seconds trying to get those repairs done. And it seemed like the wait was well worth it. Now, Deweese is about a second back from Evan Longacre. Deweese has closed the gap to 6/10. Longacre, Meadows, and Norfleet, 3rd through 5th place, are within striking distance of Braxton Deweese, who is absolutely on fire here. As, I may be interrupted. We've got problems. Chris Noble, Greg Newsom find themselves, I'm not sure if they tagged the wall there yet, but that's going to bring out the caution on lap 89. Taking a look to see what happened here. That's Chris Noble in the 53, Greg Newsom in the 23 machine. Oh, does maybe a little bit of bumper come into play here, I wonder? So far, so good. Look at the 23 machine, a little bit out of sorts. Here comes the number 6 of Brent Wall. Oh no, it looks like the 53 comes down all of a sudden off the wall. Right as the 23 machine comes up. That's Noble and Newsom are going to tandem drift it down onto the apron. Both drivers locking up at almost identical times. Does anybody hit the wall here? Oh, it sure looks like it. Yes. Chris Noble tags the wall. And Greg Newsom able to keep it off the wall. So both drivers going to be facing a little bit of damage there, and that'll bring out yet another caution, I believe our 4th caution of the night on lap 89. So that'll put us at the halfway mark once again under caution, our 4th of the night. Now, we've been about 40 laps since that stage break, so I would imagine just about everybody's going to come down pit road here. As drivers, looks like everybody down pit road. Will we see anything exciting happen? And we get them all rolled back out. Now looking inside really the entire field, I don't see anybody try anything different with 2 tires. Everybody looks like they took 4 fresh Goodyear tank of gas. Now, interesting enough, Manning, Wall, Villalobos, Hutchinson, Noble, and Diego Villalobos all with extended stays in pit road, maybe getting those repairs done. Again, we are past the halfway mark, less than 90 laps left to go for these drivers. So let's try and re-rack them here. It's still going to be Centennial Baber the front row. Norfleet Meadows your second row. With Longacre and DeWeese your third row. Keep an eye on Braxton DeWeese, that third row. He made gigantic strides over that long green flag run. I'd be interested to see if he can do it again here. Away they go. And the field very, very frantic here, as we've got 2 wide action all across the track. That is Braxton DeWeese, Kenny Meadows side by side for 4th. And a little bit further back, looks like Matt Knight, Robert Cook side by side. And who is that? That's Cook and Stevens. Just 2 wide action all over the place. Jamie Knopf, Chad Gwinnigsman side by side. So great racing all across the track, and this is where things get exciting. You got drivers coming out with sticker fresh tires, cold tires. All of a sudden that car may be a little bit more loose, a little bit more free. And a good way to find yourself involved in some sort of problems. As who's that? That's Barry Stevens, Robert Cook side by side. up high, Cook down low. We got smoke somewhere out on the track, not sure from where. I think it's Diego Villalobos. Has a moment, but I don't think there was a caution coming out there. As the field's starting to bunch up here, and oh, here we go. Hard impacts for Wall, Stevens, and Howerton. And yet another caution on lap 99. Well, let's watch this one again in slow motion. I believe Stevens was involved in that one. 78, let's see what happens. Here comes Howerton. Maybe looking down the inside line. So far, so good here. There's the 64 of Robert Cook up on the high line. Also, look at that. Here comes the number 25 of Matt Knight up on the inside. Oh, it looked like Stevens got a little bit loose. Howerton gets into him. Knight, with nowhere to go, comes barreling in. And heavy damage. Looked like also the number 18 machine. I think that was Manning getting tied up. So caution coming out. Ooh, and then Stevens, unfortunately, poor form, pulls down to the 45 of Villalobos. And that will bring out the caution here tonight. That's going to put Centini, your race leader. My, oh my, has he gotten a whole lot of practice here on the restarts. As I'm taking a look here, I believe that is our 5th caution of the evening. Yes, it is on lap 98. You're going to have a whole lot of drivers in pit row. Stevens, Howerton, Wall. Wall went in and took a tow back to the virtual hauler, signifying he's mostly done for the night. As down pit road right now, it's Knight, Manning, Newsom, Howerton, Villalobos Jr., Wall. Looks like Scott Stevens, Chris Noble have sent it back. No, Noble's out on track. So I think just Stevens in the 55 who may have parked it for the night. And we'll re-rack them. A lot of drivers doing some heavy fuel saving. So we will try and grid them up double file. Looks like just about everybody except for Brent Wall has made it back out onto the track. A fair amount of drivers, I think, will be out there wounded, though. There was some heavy hits, as it looked like Travis Manning has also put it back in the virtual hauler in his pit stall for about 2.5 minutes. He said, you know what? Not going to happen. Here we go one more time. And already it looked like Villalobos was showing off track in the 45 on the restart. Looks like we're still green here, though. Yes, we are, and that's going to leave David Centini, Colby Baber, Braxton DeWeese has worked his way inside the top 3. DeWeese, again, started off tonight strong, had to go to the very back after an early race incident, and now worked his way back up into podium contention. He was very fast on the long run before that lap 99 caution, and now it looks like things are getting exciting as ahead of him. Centini and Baber go side by side, although briefly. So let's see what's going to happen here. I think all of these really the top 5 drivers, I think have a fairly good chance of bringing it home here. It's Centini, Baber, DeWeese, Norfleet, and Meadows, your current top 5. About a second separating all these competitors. And I gotta say, they're a little bit closer together than I thought they would be. Centini's about 3/10 up over Baber, 4/10 up over DeWeese. But look at this, Norfleet, Meadows, all linked up nose to tail here. It'll be interesting to see if we can get another green flag run going out of these competitors. We were just shy of about 50 laps that last run, and now let's see. Maybe Robert Norfleet's going to try pressuring his way back up, and the number 56 machine wants to get back into podium contention. Oh, here we go. Norfleet going to challenge with DeWeese in the battle for third. DeWeese in the black and white number 8 machine. Norfleet, the black and red 56. Inside the top 3, DeWeese realizing he's got pressure from behind in the likes of Norfleet and Meadows. might start wicking up the pace here to try and track down Colby Baber, as it looks like Norfleet going to have his hands full as well with Kenny Meadows in the 96. As the heat continues, this allowing Centennial to extend his gap to just over 0.6 over Baber. Baber no longer has that comfortable buffer with Deweese breathing down his neck. Looks like Norfleet stretched the gap ever so slightly away from Meadows, and I think Longacre, yeah, right around in 6. About a 3-4 car battle. If Deweese can get up there to Baber and start battling, that's going to slow down the pace, and that may allow Norfleet, Meadows, Longacre, that 3-car pack coming 4th to 6th, the chance to close the gap and find a whole lot more drivers inside the battle for the top 3. Deweese looking high, Baber guarding the inside line here through 3 and 4. Deweese has a big run, but I don't think he's going to have quite enough to make a move into 1. No, he will not, following in the number 10 of Baber. Less than 60 laps left to go for these drivers. Here we go, the battle for second. Deweese has closed the gap to Colby Baber. Neither driver losing that much time to Centennial. They're about 0.3 behind the race leader, excuse me, a half second behind the race leader. And all 3 of these drivers clicking off 24.4 second lap times that last time by. This could get heated here. Deweese definitely the comeback story of the night. Will he be able to make a move? They extended the gap to 1.3 seconds up over Robert Norfleet. Here we go, Deweese looking the inside line. Side by side with Baber down the backstretch, but a big blink may take away the momentum that Deweese has here. Still, side by side they go through 3 and 4. This has allowed Senny to extend his gap to about 0.8 over these two of Baber and Deweese, battling for that second place spot. Now these two are still about a second up over fourth place Robert Norfleet. Getting a bit of a green flag run to show what these drivers have out here. Is something's going on. Centenny has traffic to contend with. I think that may have been Matt Knight, the 25. I'm not quite sure who that was. But that's going to stretch the field out here, or at least the top three, allowing Baber maybe a bit of a break here, as DeWeese was keeping the pressure on him, and that's allowed Baber to close the gap to about 4/10 to Centenny out front. Laps left to go. Very impressive three stand right there with each other. Let's go a little bit further back in the field. The Robert Cook in the 64 machine. He's got Timothy Davis breathing down his neck in the 92. So I believe that was the 53 of Chris Noble we saw earlier drive around a little bit wounded. Just trying to score some points, salvage a bit of an evening. Look at this battle for just inside the top 10. Davis and Cook going at it here. We've also got another battle out on track from about 13th through, I believe, 16th on this train. Diego Villalobos, Mike Howerton, Barry Stevens, Greg Newsom. I believe Howerton has the front end missing off that 51 machine after some early incident. But let's go back to this wild battle here for 10th. Cook and Davis not giving each other any room. Or maybe I should say giving each other just enough room to avoid taking each other out. Still putting on a great show for the fans here. And really dicing it up. The laps rapidly clicking off for these guys, but you can definitely tell the tire wear starting to become a factor, as most of these guys have been out on track for about 50 laps since their last pit stop around that lap 90 mark. Look at Cook and Davis still going at it here. But it looks like John Binder has plans. Number 33 machine, the all red 33. Looks to the inside line of Davis. Now Binder up 10 spots from where he started, qualified 22nd. Currently all the way up into 12th. Binder watches Cook and Davis ahead of him. Has backed off the pace slightly. Oh, but we've got problems. Howerton shows involved in a crash and a massive pileup. It's Howerton, Villabos, Stevens, all tied up in that one. Smoke everywhere on lap 141, so we're going to bring out the caution and maybe the cleanup crew. Let's take a look and see what happened there. So let's watch this one again, see what happens to Villabos in the 43. Looks maybe the slightest of loose through 4, especially exiting out of 4. Looks like that, watch that back end of the 43 machine. Gets loose. Chases it. Able to hold on to it. Looks like Howerton avoided getting into the back of him. But I don't think Villabos really had it sorted out here yet. And I think he gets a little bit of a bump from behind. But watch this. This is going to be absolutely violent. Howerton looks like he's on the brakes. Villabos locking it up in the 43. Tries to hold on to it, but unfortunately didn't lock up the brakes. Back up the track. Gets plowed by Howerton into the outside wall. Up and over goes Villabos with a bit of a kickflip. So it's Villabos. Looks like Howerton in that one, the 78 of Barry Stevens. But look at the hang time there from Villabos. Oh, and here comes the 53 machine just charging in. That's Chris Noble. And what a spectacularly violent wreck that one was. So here we go. That is our 6th caution of the night. It's going to be Centini, Baber, the front row, DeWeese, Norfleet, your 2nd row, Meadows, Longacre, your 3rd row. And yes, we are going to see just about everybody coming down pit road. They've been out on track for about 50 laps. So I believe with 40 laps left to go, I would imagine everybody's going to take 4 fresh Goodyears here. Because we're starting to hint at some green flag runs, but look at this. Is this correct? Showing Colby Baber coming out of pit road first over Centini. About 4/10 faster on pit road. So this is where it gets interesting. I believe at this point everybody should be good to go to the end of the race to make it on fuel. So there is a chance, albeit a small one, that we make it all the way back. I believe I just heard somebody blow up on pit road. Not sure who that was. And for the first time tonight, Baber will be starting in the hot seat, that inside pole position. Let's go, Colby Baber in the top spot. Dave Centini right behind. Oh no, what happened? There goes Braxton DeWeese. Oh no, they have binned it in the middle of the field. Braxton DeWeese, Robert Norfleet heavily involved in that one. DeWeese takes a tow back to pit road, and we don't even get a lap here before the caution is out. And DeWeese, the hard charger, finds himself all alone on pit road. Let's see what happened to DeWeese, that number 8 machine, the left side of your screen. He was having a fantastic night after that early race incident. Had worked his way up all the way. I believe it was up to as high as second. Yes. Looks like he got a little bit unsorted there. Yes, gets loose. And then Centini, with no time to react, just tips into the back of DeWeese. But look at this. Poor Robert Norfleet drills the back of the number 8 machine. And the field starts to stack up here. That's the number 95 of Longacre also tied up. Looks like, I think that was Kenny Meadows got a piece of it. I mean, well done to DeWeese having the forethought to lock up the brakes and try to avoid making a bad situation worse. But unfortunately, his night is over here at Iowa. So as we get not even a lap here, it's going to be Baber holding on to the top spot. Now, surely nobody's going to come down pit road. They were pretty much already there. Now, unless some drivers may have some more damage they're trying to get corrected. Got Gwinningsman. Looks like he's coming down pit road with the number 9 machine. So it's looking like we're going to have about 12, 13 drivers on the lead lap. It'll be about 30 laps left to go on this restart. And what a rough night for the drivers. Now, Colby Baber's got to be happy here. But I think he would have been a little bit more happy with somebody separating him and David Centini. Centini extremely fast on the long runs. Well, let's try this again. It's going to be less than 30 laps left to go on the restart. Getting them stacked up double file. We're going to go one more lap under eye pacing conditions. Now let's get ready to fire them back up. Will we get that run we're looking for? Or are we going to see more cautions interrupting the party here? As it has been a rough one. 14 drivers still on the lead lap. And more than a couple have been put back in their virtual hauler. I'm counting about 5 drivers who were forced into an early retirement here this evening. Here we go. It's Baber on the inside line. Wait until he's fully across the start-finish line to hop up in his preferred groove right behind him. Looks like Centini has pressure from Kenny Meadows. Jamie Knopf has worked his way pretty high up inside the standings, now 4th. Billy Fitzgerald runs 5th. Oh, looked like that was Meadows. Had a big moment there. Riding around in 3rd in the 96, all sorts of loose. Jamie Knopf having a solid night. Now we've got problems somewhere out on track. Julio Villalobos had another incident in the 45. Wonder if Howerton may have been involved in that one, but Bill Dolph off track on the inside line, not seeing a caution yet. I was trying to talk about Jamie Knopf. He's getting chased by Billy Fitzgerald here. Knopf is up 9 positions, Fitzgerald up 5 spots, and look at that, Knopf trying to work his way up into the podium against Kenny Meadows in the 96. 26 laps left to go, and there is smoke all over the place here tonight. Now we're watching the battle for 3rd. Kenny Meadows in the white and gold 96. Knopf in the highlighter yellow and red number 28 machine. Getting ready to go side by side. That may allow Fitzgerald a chance to get up in there. Ooh, both drivers being very mindful. What's going on back here? That was Timothy Davis pointing the wrong way in the 92 machine. And that will bring out yet another caution here for lap 156. Checking in to see what happened to Timothy Davis. Oh, drifted up in the wall, the 64 of Cook, nowhere to go, and not quite sure who that was. Also got tagged, I think possibly Matt Knight. And that'll bring out yet another caution here for lap 156. It'll be Baber in the top spot, Centeni second, Knopf, and Meadows will be the second row, Fitzgerald, Cook your third row. Now, I don't think we're going to see anybody come down pit road, as it hasn't been that long since everybody took 4 fresh tires underneath them. But hey, I've seen crazier things at a racetrack. Now, interesting enough, Centeni, Longacre, Gwinnigsman, Davis, Binder, Dolph, all came down pit road to get serviced. The top 8 ought to stay out here. How much more important are those 17-lap newer tires going to be? And will these drivers have enough laps left to do anything with it? Now, I'm a little bit surprised to see Centeni and Longacre come down pit road, especially Centeni, as Baber, Knopf, Fitzgerald, and Cook, as well as Hutchinson, all opt to stay out here. So I believe it's going to be about 18 laps left to go for this restart. Now the big question becomes, will we see the green-white checker attempts come into play here tonight? Pace car will be in this time by for the lap 18 restart. Could be the final attempt of the night if we don't run into green-white checker attempts here. Now the top 4, last time they were in pit road was on lap 141. Keep an eye out on 5th place, David Centeni in the number 79 machine. He opted to come down pit road on lap 158. And a interesting gamble, giving up a whole lot of track position here. Pace car is in. And away we go. Faber with a fantastic launch. But let's check back in on Centenni, the 79 machine, who seems to be in the meat grinder here. He's about to go side by side with Cook, side by side with now Knopf. And the 79 machine, Rippin Ford, has worked his way up to fourth, now third. He's side by side with Fitzgerald. He's got Jamie Knopf just ahead of him. And looking to make some three-wide action here. Centenni looks to the inside line of Knopf. Will he take over second place through 1 and 2? Yes, he will, getting clear of the 28th, the new tire gamble. Working out well for Centenni. He's now got a 1 second gap to try and close to your race leader, Colby Baber. So Baber's out front. Let's go a little bit further back to where the meat grinder remains. Clay Fitzgerald, Chad Livingston side by side. There's Evan Longacre, John Binder, Troy Hutchinson, all in the mix here, just inside the top 10. And 14 laps left to go. Will we see Centenni close the gap to Colby Baber? Right now, Baber's holding on to it as we're watching Fitzgerald and Gwenixman go side by side, the battle for fifth. Oh, and some three-wide action. Longacre almost getting tied up there. As these guys are going at it. It's about a 4-car battle for fifth. And still the three-wide action continues. Longacre looks to the inside line of Fitzgerald, trying to make it about a 2-for-1. The bright red of Gwenixman marks the the 5th place spot. But here comes John Binder as well in the 33 machine. Oh, this is absolutely wild here. Gwenixman, Fitzgerald, and Longacre putting on a fantastic show. But we got to check back in up front as David Centenni has closed the gap to Colby Baber. 10 laps left to go. Here we go, the battle for the lead. Centenni looks like he's got the drive. Baber's got, it's going to be 8 laps left to hold off the 79, but does he have the tires underneath them? 17 lap older tires than the 79 of Dave Centenni. Baber switches to a defensive line on the inside groove through 1 and 2. But Baber won't be able to defend that much longer. Here comes Centenni up the inside line, trying to slide in front of Baber. Baber carries the momentum. 7 laps left to go. Centenni not yielding an inch to that number 10 machine, trying to stay hooked up on the quarter panel. Baber's giving it everything he's got here, but man, Centenni extremely fast in that 79 machine. Still 5 laps left to go. The race not yet decided. Centeni doing everything he can to try and work around Baber. Baber riding around defensively, trying to make Centeni take the long way around if he can. Now I'm a little surprised. I thought Centeni was going to have a little bit better luck with those newer tires. And Baber seems to be fending him off. David Centeni, I thought, was going to be a shoe-in here. Not quite the case. Three laps left to go. Baber holding on to it by about a quarter of a second. Two laps left to go. It's about a 10.5, 2/10 to the advantage of Baber. Oh, what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen? Are we going to have a caution? No, the white flag is out. We're going to bring this thing home under green flag conditions. Checkered flag is gonna come out. Oh, and it's gonna be Colby Baber by about a 10.5, bringing home the win. Dave Centeni second, and Jamie Knopf will round out the top three. What a fantastic race out of these guys. And Baber, a well-deserved victory, making it last on those older tires. And a very well-deserved win here tonight. It was going to be Colby Baber the top spot, David Centeni's finishing second, and Jamie Knopf rounding out the top three. That's all my time for now. Thank you as always. We're going to pass it to our interview team. But congratulations to Colby Baber, and as always, my name is James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the next one.
Everyone, thanks for sticking with us through the race here at Iowa with the Rapid Fired Pizza National League. Another short track here in the Rapid Fired Pizza National League. And we had cars scraping and all kind of stuff going on the track. But here in pit lane to talk to our podium holders tonight, the top three in the race. I'm going to start with our third place finisher, Jamie Knopf. Jamie, you are here, and this is one of the, I don't know if it's your first time on the podium, but it's definitely a trip you've made here tonight to the podium. And Dan, what are you thinking about the race tonight?
The race went pretty good. I was running around the 6th, 7th, 8th position most of the night, and on one of the restarts, I think the third place guy got loose and took out a few of them, so that elevated me up to about third, basically. So I was about 7th, 8th place car, and then I was able to miss the wreck and wound up being able to hold off to third.
Now, Jamie, I see you here in the MSRA League, but we also I also see you in open races, and you've got driving that pay-to-win car. How is the pay-to-win set for you guys this week?
It's pretty good. I'm better at more of the mile-and-a-half tracks. Because I started out in our racing, I started out running Talladega all the time, and then moved down to mile-and-a-half, and then so short tracks ain't my best, and so the setup's pretty good this week. I've ran fourth a couple times and 7th. It's just, according to how big of a crowd's in there, but I struggle in the long run running the bottom, so I tried tonight to move up and run the top and just kind of save my tires so I can manage the long run better, and it was paying off. And then we had a couple cautions there late, and then I didn't really want to see the cautions, but then the wreck happened and took out a few of them, so I guess it kind of helped me with the cautions.
Yeah, we didn't have a shortage of cautions tonight, Jamie. So, we didn't go in and grab tires every single time there was a caution because, like I said, there wasn't a shortage of them. So, kind of like, what was your tire strategy, and did you have any tires left in the bank there in pit lane?
Yeah, I had one set left. I think we didn't have about 10 or 12 laps on our tires because we had a caution or 2 cautions there, and so right there at the end with about 23 to go, when half the field pitted, I was like, man, I should have pitted because David come out 6th, and I thought sure he was going to be able to just drive by everybody, but he drove by me, and then Kobe was able to hold him off up there, so some good battling up there at the front. It was good to watch.
Absolutely, man. And I just want to give you an opportunity here before we finish out here the interview with you. Anything you want to say, or anybody you want to thank here for your 3rd place finish before we move on?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Pay to Win Setups for all their hard work, and everybody at Rapid Fire Pizza Nation for putting on the series.
Absolutely, man. Thank you, Jamie, for sticking around for the interview with us. Guys, that is your 3rd place finisher tonight, Jamie Knopf. All right, guys, we are up next. We have a man who is no stranger to the podium here in the Rapid Fire Pizza National League, and that is David Santini. David has a couple wins so far here in the league. Also been on the podium multiple times. Other than that as well, he's no stranger to the podium. He's here again tonight. David, how was the race for you tonight?
Hey, Mike. Yeah, it feels like it's been a little while since I've been up here, but I mean, it was a fun race. I mean, I was up front all race, so I can't complain too much there. Track position is so key when you're here. Colby did get me there on that last pit stop, barely. I don't know how he did it. He must have had a really good run down pit road there, but because our pit stops, I think, from what I saw, was only off like just barely, but he did get me, and then I knew it was going to be a problem from there because he was pretty fast in the long run. That very last stop, though, there where I dove in for tires, I thought I would be able to drive by a lot easier than I did, but once I got caught up front there, it's just so hard to pass here. But great job to Colby there for holding me off and getting the win.
Yeah, I hear you. And the whole, getting past on pit lane, that's gotta hurt a bit. I know under caution, I've always been a little frustrated when guys try to race me and pass me in under pit lane, especially earlier in the race. But we're talking about here at the very end of the race, your guys' last stop in the pit stalls. But I know that's got to be frustrating for you. There, getting past in pit lane, which can put you in 2nd place and put him ahead of you there for those last few laps of the race.
Oh, no, for sure, because like I said, I mean, some tracks somebody gets in front of you, it's no big deal. It sucks when someone gets past you no matter what, but a track like here, it means so much more because now he controls the restarts and, he can go wherever he wants, and it doesn't matter where you go. It's just so hard to pass. But like I said, it must have been my mistake coming down pit road. I don't know if I wasn't going fast enough or whatever, but he had a really good run down there and just barely beat me out.
Yeah, and here's the thing about both of you guys. You guys qualified 1 and 2, so you guys had the advantage of the first 2 pit stalls. Up there at the front. In fact, you had the first pit stall, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess technically first 2 pit stalls can just drive straight out. Third's where I guess you kind of have to turn out or whatever. But yeah, I mean all night, the other pit stops, it seemed like I had it. I didn't have to, go too crazy to hold them off. But that last one, he just had a great pit stop. That last one for sure.
Yeah, and how were you doing on tires? Did you have one set left over in the pits, or did you use them all tonight?
So we did end up using them all there. We had that one to spare there. What was it, like 23 to go or something like that? I forget what it was. And I didn't know how I felt about diving in from where I was at, but, once you lose the lead like that, just, switch it up, try something, see what happens. And we did get past, I think we started 6th, got past everybody in a lap or two, but then, like I said, he was out front, and I ended up catching him, but again, same story. It's just so hard to pass here, but it was a lot of fun there racing with him at the end, going high, going low, mixing it up, trying to get past, get a run. Almost had him there, I think, at the very end. I think he just brushed the wall, but he didn't lose too much speed, but it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, that's what racing should be, man. Glad to see you here up on the podium again with the second place finish. And one last thing I want to ask you about is one of the big things about finishing and finishing well is short track is avoiding all the wrecks. And usually at a short track, there are a number of cautions, a number of wrecks. And I'm looking at your car, man, and it looks pretty clean. Is that a spotless car you finished with?
I did actually have 9 seconds of damage. Second to last restart, Braxton dove it in on the bottom. He passed me, but then coming out of 2, he got a little loose, and I just barely brushed him when he got loose. I don't think it mattered at all. I didn't even get it fixed or whatever, but that was the only damage I had. But other than that, that was the closest call I had. Didn't see anything else. So again, being up front at a track like this, you tend to stay out of the stuff, which is huge.
Yeah, I'm with you. 9 seconds on a short track isn't even worth thinking about fixing, I don't think. David, any final thoughts, any last words here as we close out the night for you?
No, other than just thanking everybody for coming out and racing, you for doing the interviews for us every week, everybody that helps put this league on, OSN, Rapid Fire Pizza, my whole team, and, again, just thanks to everybody for coming out and racing.
Thank you, David. And there you have it, folks, your second place finisher tonight on the podium, David Santini.
Thanks, Mike.
What was that, David?
No, I just said thanks, Mike.
Oh, okay, sorry. I hit the radio button over you. I don't know if they got that at the end. Anyway. Now we are moving down to the winner's circle, and we have Colby Baber, and this is his second win in a row. He is on a streak here in the Rapid Fire National League. And, Colby, man, how does it feel? 2 wins in a row.
Yeah, it feels pretty great. This is a really fun race from start to finish. A lot of fast guys in here, and like everybody's been saying, it's so hard to pass. So I felt like track position was really important, and everybody up front, man, they were just running such close lap times that I kind of felt hopeless in the beginning there. I could never catch David, but ended up working out for me in the end. So yeah, it was unexpected by me. I didn't have a great practice. I completely switched up my strategy coming into this race, and it ended up working out. So it felt pretty good.
Yeah, and it wasn't just up front. Of the cars that didn't have engine damage, clear back to the field, the laps are pretty close. So you're right. Track position is everything, man. And you came out of the gates tonight on fire with that second place qualifying time, which puts you on the outside pole for the race. So yeah, you definitely got it right tonight from start to finish.
Yeah, the big thing, the keys to the race for me were that last pit stop where we came down and got out ahead of David. That was the key moment right there. The car's faster and cleaner here, or at least my setup is. And like he also said, you got to control the restarts and pick whatever lane you want. So, that was the key there, just staying up front. And then there was that last pit call. As you saw in the end there, it was pretty even. I could have lasted maybe another half of a lap, and he would have passed me just because I was driving my tires off, trying to stay ahead of him. The fresh rubber definitely helped him. I didn't think he'd catch me as fast as he did, and I definitely had to hold him off for a lot longer than was comfortable, but ended up making it work in the end.
Yeah, and Kobe, Iowa is a different track. it's like a really, really big short track. It's one of those deals where it is shorter, but it's kind of built like it's kind of built like a standard mile and a half tri-oval as far as the shape and the turns and the way it's built, but yet it's still short. So, the setups are a little different here in Iowa. And the other thing that makes setting up a car difficult here in Iowa is all the bumps there in turns 1 and 2. There's bumps up there on the high side. There's bumps down the bottom. The middle's a little clear. So you can choose to build your setup to go over the bumps either in the top or the bottom, or you can try to build your set to avoid all the bumps by running the middle in 1 and 2. So kind of what was your guys' strategy with setup this week coming into this track that's a bit unusual?
Yeah, I built our setup to run the middle lane in 1 and 2, and run the high side in 3 and 4. And what we ended up doing was staying in middle lane on 1 and 2, but I switched down to the low side in 3 and 4 the whole race, except to defend, and that seemed to work out for us. My tires were wearing a lot more evenly. Felt like I had a lot more drive off the corners toward the end of the run. I felt like I had really good long run speed. We just never really got the chance with all the cautions tonight, but ended up working out in our favor. I felt like we saved enough tire on the runs that we did have to keep up, to be able to put us in a position to get that pit stop pass there right toward the end. And like I said, this is a fun track because the shape is familiar, but you can run so many different lines. I couldn't run that first lane with the bump in 1 and 2. I just upset my car every time. Saw a lot of guys having success with that, but my car wasn't there for that. But yeah, just so many different lines you can run, so it's exciting to watch the races here. It's frustrating as a driver because you can't pass, but it's surely a good broadcast to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. And as a driver, I think it's interesting as well to watch different cars take the lines differently because, like you said, you guys built your set then to avoid the bumps altogether. You just build it to run the middle where there are no bumps and avoid them. Where, the set that I have is built to start high and go clear to the bottom and hit some of those bumps on the way out. So, it's just interesting, like you said, to watch even while we're racing. The broadcast is interesting to watch, and even while we're racing, watching the lines that other drivers are taking and being successful at, and you were really successful with how you set the car up and running that middle line and avoiding those bumps there in 1 and 2. So congratulations on that success tonight.
Yeah, thanks. Couldn't do it without the sponsors, simracingzone.com, of course. Thanks to all the guys who put on this series, Rapid Fire Pizza, Old School Ninjas, Goon Squad for the broadcast, Evan, Race Control, all those guys that come here every week and help us facilitate a race and have a good time. And I appreciate everybody turning out too. We've been having a good turnout this season, and that just makes it a heck of a lot more enjoyable.
Yep, Colby, I got one last question for you. Now, usually, dude, you're on a hot streak. So this is your second win in a row, and it's been a couple great tracks for you, great races for you. Everything kind of went your way as well. Not only have you been fast, but just stuff's went your way. And so you're on a roll and you got a streak going. So now we've got like 2 weeks in a row off. So do you think that's going to hurt your momentum any, having all that time off?
Yeah, I think so. I think at least for me, if I get a win, my expectations kind of lower, or the pressure lowers the next week. So it can kind of be an advantage or a disadvantage, just depending on how it works out. I mean, I was coming to this race just fresh off of a win, so I don't feel like I was under as much pressure to finally get up there and win. That was my first win of the season, so I got that out of the way finally. And then just having 2 in a row, man, it's kind of unbelievable for me. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. 2 weeks, we got a lot of time to practice for the next race, so we'll come in prepared and hopefully have a good car again and be able to end up on the podium 3rd time in a row.
Folks, there you have it from the winner of the race, Colby Baber. He's speaking to us with a lot of confidence on this winning streak, 2 in a row. And we're going to see what happens when we see him here in a couple weeks back on the track with everybody else, to see if that momentum carries through this break that we're going to have here in the next couple weeks. We appreciate all of y'all staying with us. We also like to give a special thanks to the league sponsors, which is Rapid Fired Pizza, which is what the league is named after, the Rapid Fired Pizza National Series, along with Old School Ninjas, and as well as the Goon Squad, who does these great broadcasts for us that you're watching right now. Keep coming back each and every week and watching these great races here in the Rapid Fired Pizza National Series. I just want to thank you all one last time for being here with us this race. Always great action here. We hope you keep coming back. For myself, Mike Howerton, and everybody here at the Rapid Fired Pizza National League, we appreciate you tuning in for this broadcast. And as always, we will see you in the next one.